The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts. When he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged, drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them into silence.
A top rap star is busted.
JayZ turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Well, Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as JayZ. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting?
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
Now, Slovis goes on to say that at no time was JayZ hiding from the police, that they were in touch with cops all day and that they're trying to resolve this as gentlemen. But as Mike Sheehan shows us, others say they've seen the dark side of JayZ.
I have my faults. You know, I'm not a perfect person.
And a new twist in a high-profile lawsuit accuses rapper JayZ of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000 alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The lawsuit, originally filed in October, was refiled today to include JayZ as a defendant. The anonymous accuser claims the assault occurred at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party. JayZ has denied the allegations in a statement on Roc Nation's Instagram, calling the accusations heinous and urging a criminal complaint be filed instead of a civil one. He also criticized the attorney behind the lawsuit, Tony Busby, accusing him of exploiting the case for personal gain.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing new accusations of human trafficking as he awaits his federal trial. In a civil case filed in Florida April 1st, Joseph Manzaro alleges, according to court documents obtained by E! News, that he was drugged, transported against his will, and sexually maimed as a victim of a coercive and organized criminal enterprise facilitated by Combs and others back in 2015, and names celebs such as Beyonce, JayZ, and LeBron James as witnesses in the lawsuit. In his filing, Manzaro says the alleged events took place in April 2015. He states that he lost consciousness after feeling a, quote, greasy substance resembling Vaseline as he opened the front door to his home, after which he says he was transported to another residence, where an associate of Combs allegedly told him that the music mogul wanted him brought to a freak-off event. Manzaro alleges in the suit he was secretly transferred to the music producer's home through a concealed tunnel allegedly connected to Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan's Miami property. He alleges that upon regaining partial consciousness, he found himself inside a large party area upon information and belief that it was a birthday party for Combs' then 17-year-old son Christian Combs. There he was allegedly forced to appear in a penis mask. The lawsuit states, JayZ and Beyonce Knowles Carter were seated in the room, and upon seeing Manzaro, Beyonce Knowles Carter asked, "What's this? What's this all about? Why is this half-naked white man with a penis mask standing here in front of me?" Manzaro alleges in the lawsuit that he was then forcibly paraded through multiple rooms filled with people who were jeering and taunting him.
High-profile individuals, including Jacob Arabo, JayZ, Gloria Estefan, LeBron James, and Beyonce Knowles Carter, are identified as witnesses due to their presence or knowledge of the events surrounding the freak-off orchestrated by defendant Diddy. Wow. And freak-off, of course, is something that we've heard many times before, both in Combs' criminal case and other civil cases, to describe these prolonged sexual episodes, usually with sex workers. But Manzaro is suing Sean Combs. He is suing a man named Eric Mejias. He is suing Brendan Paul, who's been described in another lawsuit as Sean Combs' drug mule, Emilio Estefan, who is married to pop superstar Gloria Estefan, and Adria English, who filed her own lawsuit against Sean Combs, claiming she too was a victim of sex trafficking. By the way, it's interesting he's not suing these other celebrities that I mentioned, like JayZ and Beyonce and Gloria Estefan, possibly because he doesn't believe their alleged liability amounted to a civil claim, but seems to want to call them as witnesses at a trial, although I have to imagine they will do everything in their power to quash any subpoena should this case progress, and we'll talk a little bit more about whether or not it will.
That alleged freak-off reportedly happened in 2015 at both Gloria and husband Emilio Estefan's Miami mansion and Diddy's. That's where a new accuser claims he was sexually assaulted and humiliated by Diddy, and he says Beyonce, JayZ, and Gloria all witnessed his abuse, but allegedly did nothing.
Yeah, let's skip over that.
Okay, I don't like it at all.
Gloria and Emilio denying the claims, telling ET there were no parties thrown at that property between 2012 and 2019. The couple says they have documents to back their denial and will provide them in court if necessary.
I could not believe what I was hearing.
God. As for JayZ, his rep tells ET he wasn't in Florida at that time to witness this incident. He was engaged in easily findable public activities that prove he was not at this event, adding, "This is more nonsense that erodes the trust in our justice system."
A lot of times people say things because they don't want to get themselves in a PR disaster. They can't be, write a check.
The new claims come months after a woman dropped a lawsuit against JayZ alleging he raped her 15 years ago.
Diddy always been the type of individual that wanted to have ups on the next person no matter what they was doing. He did the stuff to Ja Rule so he could go after JayZ. They not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. Until the Fed say, "Hey, yo, listen here. Hey, buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love." That's when they're gonna start talking, and they're not gonna be talking in his favor. 250 cameras all over the house. Somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. When you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having 1 or 2 or maybe 3 ups on somebody. That the people in power had gave that reign to Diddy, and Jay was next in line. So to separate him when in fact they may be two of the same, but because JayZ is low key, that low key sneaky, and Diddy is and was rambunctious, just out with it. It don't mean that they not two of the same. One just a little quiet with his shit.
What happened at the basketball game? when they ran into, you guys ran into JayZ?
They were just talking. They was talking amongst each other about their little white girls. They little skinny white girls.
And I mean, did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah.
Like I said, Biggie died, Tupac died, and then there was the fight between who was the top rapper now, Nas and JayZ, and then the next thing you know, Nas has a nervous breakdown and he's taken out of the game, and it's all JayZ.
It's all JayZ.
It's all JayZ. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all of those records together. They both Aaliyah. They shared so much in common. You know? And then there was a falling out. And that's like it never happened. Whoever talks about best of the both worlds, best of both worlds. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody.
Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and JayZ are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
JayZ has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
Diddy's prison phone call just leaked and it was posted by Social Details. This is allegedly a call that he had, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of code words in there, so we're gonna listen to it together. Check it out.
Not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes leftover.
Now, this alleged leaked call from Diddy in prison was talking about getting rid of pizza boxes. Now, if you know your stuff and you're privy, you know exactly what pizza stands for, and that's probably what they're talking about and referring to on this alleged leaked call. Pizza, for those who don't know, I'm gonna make it very clean. It has to do with children and selling.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Now, in this alleged phone call, he starts talking about someone named Jay. People are speculating that maybe JayZ, but there's no confirmation. At the same time, he talks about recycling plastic. I don't know what that could mean. If you guys have any idea, comment and let me know.
Everybody out there quiet as yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
I mean, it seems by the call that he's looking for help. He's saying that a lot of people are quiet, I guess people that are on his side, and that he's gonna have the last laugh at the end.
Man, just do what I told you to do, and don't forget about the list.
And then he goes on to say, don't forget about the list. And we don't know what that list is or what that implies, but this is pretty crazy. Do I think this is legitimate? There is no confirmation yet if this is legitimate or not, but this is the alleged leaked call of Diddy.
When I looked at that thing, to be honest, I thought that the people who was watching it, because you know at those hotels, they have security personnel that watch that stuff. And if they didn't call the police, they should be in jail. I don't care what nobody say. You know, whoever watched that tape and didn't submit that to the authorities, they should be brought up on charges.
Why do you think the video is barely coming out right now? Because you got a lot of people, you know, that's wondering why it took so long.
First of all, they know that Puff probably paid the security personnel like, cause he knew it was on camera. When he made it to the hallway when she made it to that phone, once that phone picked up, that's going straight to security. That's for emergency purposes only. So either the concierge or somebody that's handling emergency type situations when she picked up that phone. So now, Puff probably had somebody pay them off. 9 times out of 10, he had somebody pay them off, bruh.
Big breaking news tonight, and for the first time in the history of New York City, a sitting mayor has been indicted for crimes. ABC News reporting that Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We do not know yet the exact charges. Federal authorities have been investigating Adams and members of his staff, issuing subpoenas for documents and cell phones. Several members of administration have resigned, some of them also friends of Mayor Adams. Again, Eric Adams, the 110th mayor of New York, has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We'll have the latest online and tonight on Eyewitness News at 11.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong.
He was one. At the same time. He got them shits. He started drinking. His pictures were fucking's the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
JayZ's career, you can look at that and say the association to Beyonce is when he started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce, right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see their kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing. Right. They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them.
Sean Diddy Combs' legal team is getting a little smaller. As the rap mogul's defense team prepares for his May trial on sex trafficking charges, his attorney Anthony Rico respectfully but regrettably requested to be dismissed from his role, according to documents obtained by NBC News. Rico, who is one of 6 attorneys on the case, requested in the February 21st filing to withdraw as representation because, quote, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. The motion continues, quote, while I'm aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon a showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application for withdrawal as counsel in this case.
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
Now to Sean Diddy Combs, looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial
Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael, you'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced, as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay. All right. Thanks to you, Aaron.
The trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. A judge has denied his request to delay the proceedings, and that means jury selection could start in just weeks. ABC's Phil Lipoff is tracking this case. Good morning, Phil.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. It looks like it's going to. Sean Combs' trial date is set to go on as expected Friday. A judge ruled Combs' criminal sex trafficking trial will begin next month as scheduled after he denied the defense's request for a 2-month adjournment. The trial is set to begin May 5th with jury selection. The judge said it was unclear why there isn't sufficient time to prepare, especially since 4 different law firms are now representing him. The judge agreed, however, to allow alleged victims to testify under pseudonyms, but one star witness, Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, is expected to testify under her own name. She filed, you'll remember, a quickly settled civil lawsuit against Combs. The judge agreed with a defense request to receive outtakes of interviews conducted for a documentary produced by Warner Brothers. Those interviews were conducted with potential trial witnesses. Combs appeared in Jailhouse Beige on Friday and was given a moment at the end of the hearing to communicate with his mother and one of his sons. He told them, "I love you and we're good." He has pleaded, we should mention, not guilty to all 5 federal counts and maintained his innocence in the civil suit.
Hey there, babes. It's your girl Holly, your go-to drama detective. And honey, we've got some nuclear level tea today. Word on these Tinseltown streets, JayZ might be flipping on Diddy to save his billion-dollar empire. And yes, Beyonce's name is floating in the mix too. Now, before we jump into the receipts, grab your iced matcha, light a scandalous candle, and slam that subscribe button like you're slapping a subpoena on Diddy's desk. Because this one, it's hotter than a freak-off party in Miami, allegedly. Let's get into the chaos, shall we? So here's the deal, lovies. Diddy, yes, that Diddy, is allegedly knee-deep in a federal case involving ST, hush money, and criminal enterprises that sound more like a Scorsese script than real life. But the real twist? Insiders are whispering that JayZ's name keeps popping up in those sealed files, like a bad X in your group chat. And now the feds want Diddy to sing Honey. Word on the cell block, Diddy got slapped with a secret plea deal that involved naming names, and guess whose came up first? JayZ. Yup. The Carters might just be sweating in their matching billion-dollar PJs right now. Let me know in the comments, do you think Diddy will spill the beans, or is he too scared of being labeled a rat? All right, babes, let's spill this scalding tea. According to sources close to the situation, and when I say sources, I mean the kind who know which burner phone Diddy used, the plea deal on the table would have had him name co-conspirators, including JayZ himself. Now here's where it gets messy. Allegedly, JayZ told Diddy not to take the deal. Like, baby, are you trying to be a ride or die or just die? Either way, Diddy reportedly said no thanks because, as he told his inner circle, rats don't last in prison. Bold of him to act like he's Tony Montana all of a sudden. But if Jay's name really is in those documents and Diddy's stuck with no way out, it's given desperation, honey. Now let's not act brand new. Diddy and JayZ, they've been skating on thin ice for years. Flashback to 1999. JayZ literally pled guilty to stabbing Lance Unreverere at a party. 3rd-degree assault, babes. Not alleged, not rumored. He did that. Meanwhile, Diddy was caught up in a nightclub shooting the same year, gunfire, chaos, the whole mess. So let's not pretend like these two are just innocent businessmen sipping Ace of Spades in the Hamptons. And let's be real, powerful men in music have long used their money to silence accusers and protect their brands. But baby, that silence is cracking. Hold on to your wigs because this lawsuit, filed in Florida, a man named Joseph Manzaro alleges he was drugged, kidnapped, and sexually maimed. Yes, maimed. In a 2015 freak-off party allegedly organized by Diddy. And guess who was allegedly there? JayZ and Beyonce. Queen Bee might have been sipping champagne in the VIP, but the lawsuit claims she and Jay were present at this event. The implications? Career-shattering, brand-destroying, absolutely explosive. And here's the kicker, this isn't even the first time JayZ and Diddy have been tied to the same scandal. They've been dodging lawsuits like it's dodgeball at Rikers. Get this, honey. A few months ago, both Diddy and JayZ were named in another civil suit. But just when things started heating up, the case magically vanished. Poof, gone. Allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly with a capital A, JayZ personally threatened the woman who filed it. Then Jay drops a smooth little public statement and boom, Diddy gets released from jail, claiming a medical emergency. A week later, that case disappears like my self-control during Sephora sales. Is this giving strategic silence or mafia boss moves? Either way, the optics are not cute, babes. So while Diddy was behind bars, he apparently couldn't stop calling JayZ. And not just regular calls, oh no. We're talking encrypted, paid for with prisoner credits kind of calls. Like he was running an underground hotline, babes. Diddy even called his son and told him to contact JayZ. And leaked recordings from Metropolitan Detention Center, they show Diddy making some very interesting calls to anonymous numbers. So what were they talking about? Damage control, a hit list, a new business deal? The streets are speculating, and when the streets talk, Holly listens. Now, listen, I love Beyonce like the rest of you, but baby, we gotta talk. Her name being attached to these freak-off parties is not something I thought I'd say in 2025, but here we are. Insiders claim her marriage to JayZ, purely transactional, like $1 billion brand partnership with occasional red carpet photos. And apparently, she wasn't just arm candy, she was in the room when things went down. Now, whether that means she was involved or just present is unclear, but what is clear? Beyonce might need to dust off that lemonade again, because the Bayhive is shooketh. Let's wrap it up with the meltdown of the millennium. JayZ's longtime lawyers dropped him. Diddy's legal team, gone. Even his 20-year law firm abandoned ship faster than you can say subpoena. Anthony Ricci, Diddy's attorney, submitted a withdrawal letter that basically said, I know some stuff, but can't tell you. Lawyer things. Like, baby, what did you see that scared you off that hard? JayZ, once the Teflon Don of hip-hop, is now being whispered about in federal buildings. If tapes exist and insiders say they do, it's over, honey. Babes, this ain't a minor scandal. This is a meltdown. Diddy's backed into a corner. JayZ's allegedly ghosting his legal team, and Beyonce's name is swirling around lawsuits like glitter at a drag brunch. If even a fraction of this tea is true, the empire they built on silence, threats, and billion-dollar branding, it's about to crumble, honey. But I want to hear from you. Do you think JayZ will flip to save himself? Is Beyonce just caught in the crossfire? Or is she deeper in this mess than we know? Drop your theories in the comments below, slam that subscribe button like it owes you money, and hit that bell so you don't miss a single drop of this saga. Because, babes, it's only getting darker from here.